I have 3 grandchildren. 2 granddaughters, 8 and 5, and a grandson who's 15. And there's such a difference when it comes to choosing presents now. I have to be very careful because the 2 young girls, well, they're very particular about their Santa's list, and I have to make sure that my presents don't interfere with what Santa is going to bring them on Christmas Day. And then there's my teenage grandson, who's building himself a computer, and the chances of me buying the right microchip or motherboard are nil, so I've sent him some money and the project is underway. But here's a story of a family brought up in the Depression years in America. Listen to this. My mum had a view of Christmas that it was vitally important, even if she was desperately trying to make a feast out of hot dog sausages. Anybody who would put Christmas down and say that it wasn't worth the effort, contends my mother, is guilty of sinning against both heaven and his fellow man. He's a hangdog, mean-spirited character who is unworthy of receiving the greatest gift of all time. My father, reared a Scottish Presbyterian with a more moderate, Mum would say lukewarm, approach to most things, may have once regarded Mum's feelings about Christmas as a bit extravagant. But early in their marriage, she beat him into line with weapons he normally handled best, ethical and spiritual arguments. He made the mistake one greyish December morning of observing bleakly that the lumber business was going badly and it looked like a poor Christmas this year. A poor Christmas, said Mum. Shame on you. There's no such thing as a poor Christmas. There are poor people and hard times, yes. They were not new in Christ's time. They were certainly not new in rural America. But no matter what you had or didn't have in a material way, Christmas stood by itself, glorious and unmatched, according to my mother, by anything else that had happened in the history of the world. Jesus himself had come to dwell among men. And with a richness like that to celebrate, who could be so mean and self-centered as to speak of a poor Christmas? Mum had a saying, things aren't important, people are. And she had a way of making sure that the people around us knew that we cared. And so it was that as fast as gift packages came in from distant kin, Mum unwrapped them, admired them, and with a gleam in her eye that I came to dread, said happily, now who can we give this to? There were some lavender socks a boy in the 6th grade gave me. Beautiful, said Mum. You can give them to Aunt's sister. There was a green crepe de chine dress I think I still mourn for a little bit. Oh, it's so pretty, said Mum. Don't you want to give it to Julia Bell? Julia Bell was a skinny little girl in the quarters who had lost her everything in a fire and kept wandering up and down the road, wringing her hands and crying. My green dress was such a dazzling gift. It did divert her from her grief a little, and it may have helped her along the road to recovery. At the time, I remember protesting that I loved the dress and wanted it myself. And Mum said simply, of course you do, love. It's no gift if it's something you don't care about. In these days of Amazon vouchers In fact, vouchers from everywhere that are so simple to give. And let's face it, if everything was left to David, I believe everyone would get an envelope on Christmas morning with a voucher. But I do like to take time, if I can, to make sure that the gift is right. So if things don't matter and people do, my thought for today is this. How will you make your gift special? And in these days when we maybe can't see people to exchange gifts, how can we use our imaginations to ensure that people know we really are thinking about them at Christmas? How will you elevate a simple gift to something that demonstrates the care that you want to show? Wonder how your re-gifting might be done this year. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.